Live from Virtue Field in Burlington, Vermont. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brian McLaughlin. He's Matt Montel. It's the final game of the Vermont Green FC historic first regular season, and oh, baby, there's a lot on the line. Playoff pictures and first place in the division up for grabs as Western Massachusetts is in town. Matt, it is a hot and steamy day today, my friend, but how are you on this afternoon?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so excited for this match. I think this whole town is so excited. I've been seeing it it's digitally. I've been seeing it all over Twitter, all of my friends. You go to any restaurant or bar right now, everyone's just talking about Vermont Green FC and this playoff contention for it. So I think everyone's really jazzed up for it.
2 wins in a row for Vermont Green FC, putting themselves in a win-and-in situation. They win today. They are in the playoffs in their first ever USL2 season. But, Matt, they're taking on the hottest team in the league. Western Massachusetts have won 10 straight games. What are they going to need to do today to beat such a red-hot team?
I think they're going to need to carry over that defensive shape and that performance that we've seen right now, and especially the last 4 or 5 matches. Vermont Green has not been letting in a lot of goals so far, and I think honestly just carrying that over and then still doing what they're doing going forward. A lot of really great goals coming out of them, so I think it's going to be a balance, and there's going to be a lot at stake right in this game. But otherwise, I think just stick to what you've been doing.
A sellout crowd expected as Vermont Green FC hosts the Western Massachusetts Pioneers. That's the back of the Vermont Green walkout. Let's meet the starting 11, though, for Western Massachusetts, who are in some flashy, bright pink road uniforms today. Western Massachusetts in their starting 11 without their star attacker, Braudilio Rodriguez, who has 10 goals, 3 assists on the year. No Rodriguez, Matt, but this team still with a lot of firepower. They've won 10 games in a row for a reason. This is a tough group.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, though, that the player with 10 goals is out for this one, in such a short season for it. So Vermont Green's going to be pretty happy about that. But otherwise, I don't see a huge drop-off coming from Western Mass. They're not winning their games only because of those 10 goals. They're winning those games because of how good they are as a team. So it's going to be a big ask.
19. Khalid Rose is their leading goal scorer in this match. He still has scored 7 goals on the year. And starting in goal is Lucas Morales-Fernandez. And Morales-Fernandez has not started a game since early June. He has both losses on the year in goal for Western Massachusetts. So they've made a bit of a different change in their lineup. Let's meet a different-looking Vermont Green FC lineup as well. Vermont Green FC, Matt, coming in with some familiar faces, but in the back, no Jake Ashford, no Mark O'Neill today, as those two are no longer with the roster for the rest of the year.
I mean, that's why you have such a large roster, though, is, you're going to need, once players either going back to their college programs, maybe they're going back to their semi-pro clubs, whatever it is, that's why you have a roster of that size, so that everyone plays their part throughout an entire season, and there isn't going to be necessarily as steep of a drop-off as I think some people would expect, and that's where there's going to be some fun today.
Let's dive into that fun. While Carter Bolia is making the start at center back, next to him, number 13, Connor Tobin. And Connor Tobin, Matt, a player at the University of Vermont from 2005 to 2008. He is the Green Mountain man. He is a part of this Vermont Green front office. He is a former longtime professional, and he is making his Vermont Green debut today in a win-in match.
Grabbing those boots out of the closet, dusting them off. He's ready.
That's Connor on your screen right on the side of the line, and he's got that playoff mustache going. You can see he's pretty loose, though, joking with our cameraman Mitchell down there. He's ready to go. This is so fun, not just for Connor, but the soccer community here, seeing one of the leaders for this entire program and this new team now getting to go out on the field as a former professional, but to give back to the community now as a player again.
And honestly, maybe he has maybe a couple more miles on his legs or a couple more years than these guys, but what he makes up for it is that experience. Connor has been playing, when I talked to him one-on-one about his experience playing in the game for almost a decade and a half at a pretty high level, you carry that over, that experience. That's going to be where you position yourself on the field. That's going to be when you decide to tackle, when you go to ground, when you decide, okay, I can play the long ball. All those little decisions, that just comes with time, and that's what he's going to bring to this back line. I'm really interested to see how this goes.
Moving up from the back line with Connor Tobin and Carter Bolia. In front of them, Rodrigo Ferreira and Daniel Pacella are 2 players that we think are unbelievably important not just helping bring in the 2 new center backs into this game environment, but in starting the attack and limiting transition for Western Massachusetts as well.
And I mean, that's the thing is, especially in a system, like a 4-2-3-1, but those 2 holding, center mids, they protect the back line, and then they also join into the attack. It's so influential. It's such an important. It's arguably, in my opinion, the most important position
it's just
on the
field. Just because it was the position you played.
Yeah, not well. But and then all of a sudden you have a little bit of a new back line going on, and you have to bring in other people. That's where you have that insurance, where you have Pacella and Ferreira.
And now let's talk about the top of this formation. I like to call it a top 4. It's not really that. It's the 3 attacking midfielders and then the 1 striker. This group feasted last time out against Pathfinder FC. Diba Nwegbo, a hat trick off the bench in the second half. Charlie Adams looked phenomenal again. Matthew Gonsalves, a goal and 3 assists in an 8-0 win last time out for Vermont Green. You're not going to get 8 goals today against Western Massachusetts, but has to feel good that you played well as a unit last time out for that front group.
Yeah, exactly. How you can't criticize a team for taking control when they have the opportunity to against 10 men. The game played out the way that it did, but that's their job. You play what's in front of you, and they went absolutely rabid in front of goal for it. That carries over confidence. No matter what you say about, okay, maybe it got a little bit boring because it was just too easy for them, whatever. They went out, they scored 8 goals. They scored 8 different types of goals. There was a lot of confidence building into that. You need to carry that over into a game like this.
Vermont Green and Western Massachusetts shaking hands as Nate Silvera captains the Green today. It's Nate's 8th start of the year in goal for Vermont Green, while starting in goal for Western Massachusetts is Lucas Morales Fernandez. Matt, this is going to be a fantastic one. Last time these 2 teams met, it was a 3-2 final score. Vermont Green falling on the road against Western Massachusetts. Western Mass has won 10 in a row. Vermont Green in a must-win situation. I mean, what else could we ask for coming into this?
I got a feeling this is going to be a punch for punch, but yeah, this is one to watch.
Goal differential basically the same at the top of the standings. Seacoast United leading Western Massachusetts by 1 point entering today. It is worth noting that Western Mass, with a win and dropped points from Seacoast against ACC, that's AC Connecticut, it's unlikely, but that would give Western Massachusetts the division title and the top seed going into the playoffs, which will be hosted by Western Massachusetts starting next week. They've got a lot to play for, too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's not just, Vermont Green FC. This is going to be their job, too. They need to come here, and they need to get this win. And hopefully, for Vermont Green FC, that means they're a little bit reckless going forward, that they're going to actually pour their numbers forward. There will be space in behind. So I think it's going to be back and forth. I think this is going to be an open match, to be honest.
It was open. It was back and forth the first time these 2 teams met. Vermont led 1-0 in that match as Owen O'Malley, he scored from outside the 18 with an absolute rocket to get the scoring started. O'Malley got it started, but then Western Massachusetts responded. They went up 2-1. Alfredo Bozalongo equalizes in the 89th minute. Happy birthday to Alfredo, by the way, but unfortunately he is not with the team today. But then it was Western Massachusetts late in that match getting the game winner from Bradilio Rodriguez. That was in the midst of their 10-game winning streak. And that was the most goals, though, Matt, that they've allowed in that 10-game stretch. Other than that, they've not allowed an opponent to score more than 1 over their last 10. This team is defensively sound and structured, led by, at the back, their 2 central defenders, Mael Coutu and Connor Hicks plays right back, while it will be Cheney Nash-Gibney in the center. It's going to be interesting today. Lots of storylines as Vermont Green in their home green uniforms against these bright, shiny pink road tops for Western Massachusetts.
Let's go.
How about it? It is a packed house from Virtue Field as well. Attendance of over 2,000 fans expected today. Western Massachusetts will start with the ball. Underway from the regular season finale at Virtue Field. Western Massachusetts controlling possession first. In the middle of the field, that's Arriagada. He's part of that central pairing. Number 14, Ignacio Albo, and number 22, Arriagada, are the 2 main central players defensively in the midfield for Western Mass.
First touch for Tobin.
There's Connor Tobin, the longtime pro. check off that on the list.
Yep.
Pass completed.
Pass completed. 1 for 1.
He's got so much experience, Matt, but is there any question of potential pace, touch as Pachella turns it over in the middle of the field? But the pass swung out wide, nowhere in the near direction of Juan Ramirez Valadez.
No, I think, Tobin, when you play for that long at that level, like your entire life, it's kind of like riding a bike. The only thing that, like, it's going to be basically like how many minutes have I spent sprinting, jumping side to side, all those kind of things, like the little movements that, like, you have to build up with playing time. And that's where the saying goes, like, you can't make up for playing time. You can train, but.
A long ball from Lilly. Matthew Gonsalves, the one to chase. We're likely to see a lot of that today with the pace that Gonsalves has up top.
He's got a big, big task ahead of him. What I've loved that I've seen out of Gonsalves taking the reins as that, center forward, the lone center forward for it, is he's carried it over in his own way that what Bjorgolfsson kind of did. It's like leading the tip of the spear, so to speak. And it's going to be difficult. What you were just talking about, too, the amount of goals that Western, Mass has allowed, that means it's probably going to be the most difficult task that he's had, like, this entire season.
Western Mass working it down the right side. This is their go-to goal scorer, Khalid Rose. Albo. Both these teams want to have possession of the ball. Normally, Vermont Green, a team that we've seen dominate possession this year, they're going to have to play with much closer to 50% of the possession today. Oberach, the left back. That ball long. Scooped up by Nate Silvera, the goalkeeper of the year in the America East, one of the University of Vermont captains, his first touch of the day. That's the guy you want in net in a big game. Another of those UVM captains, Garrett Lilly, takes the throw. This is Carter Bolia. He's making his first start at center back. He's been mostly playing left or right back, wide of Mark O'Neill and Jake Ashford. Ashford had been the only Vermont Green player to start in every game this year.
A quick shout-out request. We don't usually do this. A big happy birthday to Lucia Sands, turning 15 today. She brought the whole crew out.
Awkwardly handled by Nash Gibney, but in the end, Morales Fernandez is the one who gets his paws to it.
I think that's what you're going to see, though. Just kind of the ball out from Baloo was, sort of like the long ball. And there was nothing wrong with it. It's more so that the amount of time that he was going to have on the ball, he couldn't actually pick out maybe a ball like on the ground, played forward to like one of, to feet to one of the attacking mids for it. And that's what you kind of get when you have when you're playing against a 4-4-2 and you got two forwards and they're going to press really high. What I already immediately noticed just 2 minutes in, the two outside midfielders for Western Mass were pressing up with the two the forwards for it.
Yeah.
So it's like 4-on-4. Like there's not going to be a ton of time on the ball to play it out of the back.
It's a big reason why Rodriguez, who normally plays the left midfielder spot across from Khalid Rose, the two of them have combined for 17 of their 36 goals on the year. And they do play those wide positions. So I think that makes a lot of sense what you're seeing, Matt. They love getting those guys forward. Ramirez Valadez chasing Garrett Lilly. So it is Juan Ramirez Valadez, who has not scored on the year in 4 games played, replacing Rodriguez on the left.
And that's what I just saw Lilly do. Lilly picked his head up. He looked at Gonsalves, and you could probably bet on Gonsalves getting on the end of a ball, even if it wasn't close to him, just based on his pace. But he said, no, let's keep the ball. Let's get some rhythm going for it. And what that does is Western Mass is going to keep pushing up. And then that ball in behind, as they try to press and win the ball high up, then there's going to be space in behind. Then that long ball actually is going to look a little bit more enticing.
Pachella and Vermont enjoying some possession. Charlie Adams taken to the ground. No call on the Brown Bear, and out with it is Arriagada. He got the feed from Albo. Rose squeaks it back through to Albo. There's Connor Tobin coming through with his first tackle. Oh, Owen O'Malley, he loves the bright lights. Could not squeeze it to Gonsalves wide left. When I asked Coach Pfeifer earlier today, Matt, who's the guy that's going to love this big crowd, love the high stakes? He said, well, I think Owen O'Malley likes playing in front of fans, doesn't he?
I'd agree.
He loves that spotlight. The referee waves off. This time the cries from the Pioneers claiming for a foul. O'Malley turns it over to Rose. Give and go with Albo. Arriagada. Pumped out wide for Valadez, but too long, and Lilly the throw-in.
It's good shape in front of the back four, though, from Pachella and Ferreira. Right now, they're kind of that thread through, that they're not able to actually break those lines. Western Mass is not able to break those lines, and I'm liking the shape from it.
This is Connor Tobin. He feeds Pachella in the middle of the field. Tobin, who played for the University of Vermont from 2005 to 2008, then went on to play in the Norwegian First Division before coming to the USL Championship. He played for the in the NASL with Minnesota before eventually playing his final 2 years professionally for Forward Madison FC. After Tobin retired initially from playing professionally, he jumped on this spring to help lead this campaign for Vermont Green, and now making his debut at the back. From front office to the field for Tobin. Connor.
Cultured.
Okay.
He knew what he was doing.
Certainly looked a bit dangerous for a moment. We'll give Connor the benefit of the doubt, of course. Messer.
Just wanted to draw in two players.
Nathan Messer. He loves to drive. Gonsalves. Charlie Adams through traffic. O'Malley running onto it. It's pounded out of bounds by Connor Hicks. Hicks, the experienced right back for Western Massachusetts.
I haven't seen an attempt on goal in 7 minutes so far. I mean,
slow start.
Yeah, a little bit of slow start for what we typically see. Nothing bad, but
what have they scored in the first 3 minutes? 3 straight games here at home until today.
I think that was the stat.
Garrett Lilly opening his stride. It's a hot day down there. That type of run is going to wear on you.
Oh, there's that turf though. That ball would have sat if it was grass.
And the turf only makes it even warmer down on the playing surface.
Yeah. I've liked what I've seen out of Lilly so far right away in the first, opening minutes of the match, though. But he's been playing. It's been primarily, for some reason, been playing on his side. He's played under a lot of pressure, and he's connecting, essentially with Pachella a lot, connecting with, Nuegbo. But he's not panicking and just sending it forward. He's actually trying to, link up and create 2v1s.
Look at Diba Nuegbo. He'll battle with Oberach, but Nicholas Oberach, the captain, wins it, but turns it back over. Slide tackle, good defense from Ignacia Albo. Rose. Pachella misses on the stab, but Ferreira comes in and takes the ball.
Fantastic tackle.
Oh, and that's a big-time tackle. Oberach clatters through Garrett Lilly, and Vermont Green have won the free kick.
But that tackle from Ferreira right before, that saved it because that was looking like a 3v3 on a goal, and that was going to look really dangerous.
That's Khalid Rose, though, Matt, who cut centrally from the right wing. He's looked dangerous with the ball on his foot for Western Mass. Good work from Ferreira and Pachella. The first test of those two on this sunny Sunday, July afternoon. Vermont Green needs a full 3 points to guarantee a spot in the USL 2 playoffs in their first season of existence. Nuegbo flicks it towards Gonsalves. That was a good flick, but Gonsalves didn't make the run.
Yeah, that was exactly what they wanted to do. Just see if they could flick it on, and Gonsalves was reading. He's like, all right, if he wins it, I'm going to get on the end of it. Connor Tobin getting dragged out a little bit.
Valijic pulling him out wide. That cross picked out by Bolia. Rose off his chest. Khalid Rose, who plays for Central Connecticut State, didn't see much action for them in the fall, but has profiled in a big way this summer for the Western Massachusetts Pioneers. They've won 10 games in a row, although playing without a few of their stars as well. Arriagada. Albo. Pachella standing in front. Rose closed down by O'Malley. Oberach turns it back over. Pachella's there, man on his back. Western Massachusetts lost two of their first 3 games this year. Since then, they've gotten the full 30 points of their next 10 games. An impressive run, no matter how you slice it.
It's kind of crazy. Western Mass, like their shape when they, right on the ball, kind of right away, it's like they have 4 forwards.
Bolia takes a tumble, and that's a shove going against Josip Velijic.
We'll take it, but I'm pretty sure that was 50-50. But to finish the thought really quick was there's 4 forwards from it, and then their shape actually looks like 2 and 2 in the back. Like they're 2 backs, they get really wide, and then they have 2 that sit in front in the midfield, and that's kind of the way that they're liking to play right now.
In possession especially.
Yeah, no, exactly,
Yeah.
Just in possession.
And then defensively, they're dropping into this pretty obvious 4-4-2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in defense, it's very strictly a 4-4-2.
Tobin gets it from Bolia. Rodrigo Ferreira has worked his way to the left side. But that pass picked off by Rose. Flicked forward from Cortez Amaro, but it finds Pacella, who gets it to Messer. Messer, the Vermont Green team leader in assists. Dangerous from that left back, and more legs tangle, and again the free kick going the way of Vermont Green. This time it was Rose who got overextended on the tackle.
So far, it's kind of played out a little bit how I anticipated. It's a little bit of a dogfight. I'd say like a little bit of an edge to Vermont Green, but not much. It's kind of been a back and forth. Nobody's been able to put together really like 5, 6, 7 passes to create a chance or anything. It's getting broken up right before, the final attacking third.
Good defending both ways, right?
Yeah. No, I'd say it's disciplined right now from both teams.
2 teams that both are looking for 3 full points. Match day 14 out of 14 in USL 2. Bolia long, O'Malley the target. Connor Hicks just watches it roll out of play. Spun out of play, this time the missed touch from Arriagada. Messer trying to connect with his college teammate Deba Nwegbo, and Ferreira commits the foul before any transition from Western Massachusetts.
Smart foul, though. Kill the counterattack as quick as possible.
Transition was a big area that Coach Pfeifer was really not worried about. That was his focus coming into today. What are you looking for when the word transition is brought up, Matt?
Literally, so say right there in that moment, Vermont Green FC kind of pouring forward. Maybe they're holding the ball somewhere around the 18, trying to create that chance, whatever. And then when you're very vulnerable, when almost, both your wing backs or your right back and your left back, whatever system you're playing, if they all are forward into it, then when losing the ball, that counterattack against you is very much on, and that's kind of scary. That's where that scary transition is.
Down the end line, that was out of play before Ramirez Valadez could hook his left foot to it. Goal kick.
And that's where you want somebody to just kill the play, kill that counterattack really quickly, take a yellow if it means that, because otherwise it could look very much like a 3v1, 3v2, whatever.
Ferreira not afraid to take a yellow. He's gotten booked twice this season. Transition, though, hurt Vermont against Western Massachusetts. Really one of the only times all year where a team has scored against Vermont out of the run of play, where it hasn't been a Vermont Green mistake or a set piece that's allowed the goal. This Western Mass team was able to break down Vermont's defense a couple of times in that match.
I like what I'm seeing out of Connor, though. He's talking to his whole back line. He's talking to everyone in front of him. He's kind of dictating and he's quarterbacking this match, so to speak, and kind of tricking also the forwards, pointing one way like he's going to play it on Pacella's left foot, but then all of a sudden he just goes wide right to Baloo. Like those are the little kind of things that you pick up as a seasoned player. Building that confidence to talk to your team too is not. It doesn't just come naturally. Sometimes it does come with age and experience.
Another poor pass, though, that time from Tobin. Racing in, Bolia on the tackle of Velijic.
Great defending.
Look at the green jerseys swarm back. And Ferreira looks to send Owen O'Malley on the chase. Tough hop on the Virtue Field turf. It's bombed away by Hicks. And now here comes Khalid Rose again, stomping forward. Tobin comes in. How about that tackle?
Fantastic.
Connor Tobin.
Dropped him. Cut him down like a tree.
The wily vet still has some power in his locker.
But this was already going to look a little exhausting. It's like, oh, it just opened up. It's going to go back and forth now.
Adams just got it a bit too out in front of him. And that's Ferreira on the misstep.
I think both teams right now they're looking for that that breakthrough. They're trying to either get the counterattack or play that quick ball through, and you're seeing like a couple little mistakes, and I don't know, it might carry over for the next 10 minutes.
Not necessarily sloppy, but this hasn't been crisp either from either side.
No, nobody's been super adventurous, but it hasn't been like super open for it either. It's just kind of.
Charlie Adams through for O'Malley. He takes a shove. Out comes Morales Fernandez, and the referee says nothing to it.
O'Malley's body language tells me that he doesn't even necessarily want it. I think he's kind of being honest about it. He's like, yeah, it was a little bit of contact, but not enough for a foul.
The pass from Charlie Adams, the local product, was just too far out in front for Owen O'Malley. O'Malley has not scored since that strike against Western Massachusetts 3 weeks ago.
Well, great time to break that dry spell.
Love to end that drought today. This could be a fun battle down Vermont Green's right-hand side with Nwegbo and Oberach jockeying. Oberach from Palm Beach Atlantic University has been a huge part of this Western Massachusetts team. He comes from defense, has 2 goals and 4 assists. Now Adams, that's beautiful for Nwegbo. Deba can use his pace. Deba and Nwegbo. There's Oberach coming inside. Coming out of the goal and picking it up is Morales Fernandez.
That's great defending, though, from Fernandez. I mean, Nwegbo's a lot to deal with, especially on the run. Gets his body in front, 50-50 for it. Goalkeeper does good position. He picks it up.
Oberach, the left back, and Fernandez, the goalie, do enough to keep Deba off the score sheet for now. Into the 19th minute. No big chances yet for either side. Adams pressuring Albo. Cheney, Nash, Gibney, Oberach. Nash, Gibney, who plays for AIC. A yellow jacket. Arriagada.
Pathfinder just trying to keep themselves on the ball right now, trying to keep some possession, get some rhythm going for it. Vermont Green is happy to kind of let them have it in that defensive third.
Oberach, early cross. That bounces towards Cortez Armero, but ushered out by the Green defense. Turning and pushing forward, Arriagada. Wide for Rose. Messer came in, deflected the pass, and Western Mass retreats. O'Malley pressuring. Arriagada, the holding midfielder, with his partner, Sebastian Albo. Albo. Gonsalves pressuring, and it goes out wide. Couteau. Rose. Well out of play on the cross over Silvera's net. And another goal kick at the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, it's disappointing from Western Mass, too. There's a lot of good possession from there to create the chance and get into that final third, but then just an absolute ballooned ball.
Bolia content to find Tobin. They call him Tobin. Although, I'm not sure if that's an old or new nickname.
I told you I texted his old college center back partner, Justin Geibel. Justin, if you're listening, Connor says what up.
Deba Nwegbo, some shake and bake. Deba and his return to the starting lineup. Vermont Green's leading goal scorer. It is a throw-in for Vermont Green. Wonderful bit of skill from Deba. He's coming off a hat trick in the second half alone. Deba, Matt, he's scoring 1 goal every 63 minutes he's played so far this summer.
That is the definition of actually on fire.
That is efficient.
If you look it up, then there's his
picture of Deba Nwegbo.
Yeah, exactly.
Short throw-in. Adams can't turn the corner. And I suppose maybe a souvenir, although I'm not sure they're going to get to keep that ball.
Throw-in for the Vermont Green, who's taking it quickly. Passing it around the back.
From a neutral's perspective, though, it's been an interesting match. Both teams are kind of just poking and prodding right now. They're both trying to get some possession. They're both trying to get some rhythm going for it. But it's been really good defensive display from both teams as well. And it's gonna. I feel like it's just gonna be as cliche as it could be. It's gonna be one of those bad mistakes.
Wonderful touch from Nwegbo. Outside for Lilly. Chips it back for Deba at the end line. The cross right into the arms of Morales Fernandez. But that's good work up the right side. Some problems for the Western Massachusetts backs. You can see their conversations after the play. Deba Nwegbo starting to find dangerous pockets of space.
Starting to see a little bit of asking from the boys in the green.
Those are the guys on the left side, and Oberock conversing with Cheney Nash Gibney. This is the left center back, Nash Gibney, into the midfield, Albo. The striker, Cortez Armero, gets the turn. Lilly steps in front of the pass. Ferreira there to help out. Yeah, Garrett Lilly's looked good so far.
Garrett Lilly, a few matches back when I remember I was giving him some kind of like gentle criticism about going forward, and it's like I want to see a little bit more in the attack. And there was like I thought he's done a great job defending wise, and right up until that point, from what I was saying to this point, I've seen his game grow.
Gonsalves again chases after the long ball. Shows the hand, appreciating the service from Ferreira. I would agree. Lilly has taken some real steps forward, and I think that's allowed Owen O'Malley to go up and join that group of 3 attacking midfielders, because normally this would be O'Malley's spot at the right back.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I think Lilly is kind of cemented his spot there, barring anything, coming into the way of an injury or needing playing time for somebody else. But otherwise, he's done a great job. Ooh.
Nwegbo might have been just a moment late for Gonsalves. Gonsalves might have been offsides. Nonetheless, deflected. Deba Nwegbo and Garrett Lilly really starting to cause problems. And now here's Adams, that same pocket of room. Stops on the dime. What a switch. Nathan Messer with space. That was lovely.
Yeah, nice little chop under the ball. I love that technique.
Messer, right-footed cross towards Deba. He takes a shove. Deba got hit from behind. And the referee having nothing of it. I just think he got hit from behind by Oberock. Feet weren't quite under him.
I think Oberock was just a wall. He just ran into him.
We've got our first hydration break of the day as we've reached the 25th minute of the first half. Definitely kind of feeling each other out so far, Matt.
Yeah, it's right now it's so 50-50. I'm betting, the percentages for possession is going to be 54. I'd say maybe give a little bit more of an advantage to Vermont Green FC. I've seen them more in the attacking third more often than I've seen Western Mass, but Western Mass has done a really great job defending, holding that space really well, good shape for it, especially when they lose the ball. One thing I've noticed, I'm seeing just pink shirts in front of Vermont Green FC, like everyone behind it.
Vermont Green and Western Massachusetts in a scoreless draw so far. Clock winding into the 26th minute as we've reached a hydration break. This is quite the intense matchup between two teams that hopefully are both destined for the playoffs. What's it going to take to open it up, though? What are we going to see some really chances being taken? Because right now it's been a conservative first 25.
Based on form, and I was kind of trying to touch on it, but something was going on for it. It was more so I got a feeling it's going to be just kind of a crucial mistake, that sucks to say because it's going to be somebody who's going to be the one that does it. But right now, based on form, just literally 25 minutes in from what I'm seeing, it's going to be somebody losing the ball, like an errant flat pass across the midfield or something. So if everyone carries over with what I've seen so far, it's going to be one of those crucial mistakes, probably somewhere in front of the 18 from it. Something advantageous.
These are the top 2 offenses in the league as far as goals scored. After the 8-goal barrage last time out, Vermont Green leads the league with 37 goals, so this offense really can score at a high rate. Western Massachusetts, no slouch, 36 goals on the year through 13 games for them. These 2 offenses can both score, but they're also tied for second in the league, having only allowed 14 goals against them. So 2 sides that have proven to be complete against everybody else in the league. Something has to give today. I think that's what makes this, even though the first 25 minutes didn't have big chances, the first 25 minutes was building drama almost, just trying to give us some early storylines in this match.
Right now, this plays into Vermont Green's hand. This is kind of how they want the match to go, probably. Just keep it tight, keep everything consistent, no crucial mistakes or anything like that. But as this game does progress on, Brian, Vermont Green needs to score the goal. They need these 3 points, absolutely. So they're going to have to be a little bit more risky, a little bit more adventurous, and really throw everything towards to get that win.
On the restart, Western Massachusetts in possession. Out of our first hydration break of the day, it is a hot one in Vermont. Albo running away from Adams, finds his center back, Coutu. Pace from Khalid Rose. He goes shoulder to shoulder, but Messer comes in and Tobin slides it out of danger. Messer and Rose on that far side really could be a matchup to watch as well, as Pacella just muscles Albo and is called for the foul.
A little bit of argy-bargy in the bottom third of the field has been declared a foul by the referee.
Pacella did come up top just a little bit. Albo trying to sell it. Here's a look.
Nah, not for me. For me, that's not a foul. That's just literally just positioning your body.
It is a free kick near the attacking third for Western Massachusetts. They scored off a free kick against Nathan Schnurr and Vermont Green's defense to take a 2-1 lead the first time these 2 teams met. But that was Bradilio Rodriguez who took that free kick. He is not on their roster anymore. Standing over this is Ignacio Albo. He's got 1 goal on the year, and it came on Friday against AC Connecticut. Albo just chipping it towards the back post. Nwegbo wins the ball in the air.
And dealt with by Nwegbo.
Gonsalves tackled down. It finds the feet of Rose. And Pacella goes to the ground. Flag is up, and the whistle is blown. Foul called on the Pioneers.
But eventually follows, and we have got a free kick.
Strong work from the back of Vermont Green's defense again. In a dangerous area, they were able to keep most of the stress away from Nate Silvera. Lilly, pressure on him. Got it back from Valadez.
Still doesn't panic, like right in that moment. That's kind of another thing I want to highlight about Lilly is I've seen him in these moments where he's got 2 guys kind of pressing down on him, and he still manages to kind of just not panic. He stays calm, not afraid to lose the ball, and he knows he can recover for it. So he tries like the little flicks, try to split them, try to get into the midfield for it.
Here's Lilly. More pressure from the left wing, Juan Ramirez Valadez. Lilly unable to just easily pick out Diba Nwegbo up the sideline that time. He's flashed a thumbs up, though, for Matty Gonsalves and Diba Nwegbo. They liked where his mind was at. Gonsalves can't bring it down. Ferreira swung it in the direction of O'Malley. It pops to Khalid Rose. Rose with Connor Hicks going down the sideline. This is Cortez Armero. Hicks knocked away by Messer. Adams, Ferreira, back to Charlie Adams. Physical play from Adams, but he loses out. This is Rose. That's Cortez Armero, who gets clipped by Pacella. And the referee says play on. Diba Nwegbo pushing forward. Vermont Green on the counter. Nwegbo in the direction of Gonsalves. It's out of his reach.
It almost looks like Gonsalves didn't think it was coming kind of first time. He didn't just, that last couple steps to commit for it. It's good play, though. Play on. It's been a tough match for Gonsalves. I haven't seen a lot out of him. It's been a quiet match for him so far. I want to see him maybe drop in a little bit, get his feet on the ball, because when he does that, center backs, both those two center backs, whoever's kind of marking him, they have to make a decision. They either follow him and try to put him under pressure, or they hold that space. And if they hold that space, well, then he can turn with the ball, and then he can try to link up with Nwegbo or, Adams, whoever. But otherwise, I kind of want to see him just get a little bit more involved instead of just that direct run towards goal.
He's been quiet, no question about it. We have not said Matty Gonsalves' name much. 4 goals, 4 assists for him on the season. 3 of those assists came on Wednesday against Pathfinder FC in the 8-0 blowout win. Of course, Pathfinder playing with just 10 men for 87 of the 90 minutes in that match. Nonetheless, an impressive last performance for Vermont Green. Western Mass in good form as well. They've obviously, Brian, they've won 10 in a row. But coming off back-to-back wins against AC Connecticut, 4-1 and then 4-0. So they've played well in their recent matches. A long ball for Cortez Armero. There's Silvera. He has something to do.
Have we seen an attempt on goal? I don't think we've seen one attempt.
I don't think so. We've seen a couple decent chances to put something on goal. I don't think we've seen a shot on target either. XG, basically 0 at the moment.
Yeah.
Vermont's had their best looks down this right side, the left part of the defense for Western Mass.
Well, right away, you're actually seeing O'Malley right now. If you take a look at him, he's right where Gonsalves was, and you're seeing them. That's another thing that we had seen so often was, the 3 attacking mids,
acceleration,
forward,
Charlie Adams,
fluid together.
Lilly towards Gonsalves. He's there. Matty Gonsalves wants his right foot. And a foul going against Vermont Green. Rose wanted the advantage played. Man, good ball from Lilly and a pretty build-up that started with Adams on the dribble.
Twice now in the last couple minutes, too, that it's coming from that right side. And it's another really good cross, and it's possibly a sign of what things to come.
They are liking this right side. Nwegbo and Garrett Lilly have been a prominent part of this first half for Vermont Green. Of course, Vermont Green playing in their first season at the USL 2 level. Unprecedented support from supporters and great success as well for this club. But Western Massachusetts trying to ruin the party on the final day of the regular season. Oberak gets it off of his foot. Cortez Armero shields it nicely. Valadez blocked by Diba. Good to see Diba back in the lineup. He had started 4 of the first 5 games this season. Picked up a bit of an ankle injury, tried to play off the bench some, missed some time. Last time out, we saw him fully healthy again, and the hat trick followed with it. Hicks the move on the right side. The right back pushing forward. Here's Gonsalves. And he unlocks O'Malley. Long for Diba Nwegbo. Can he push it forward? Nwegbo with the ball bouncing in front. Nobody with him. He's going 1-on-7. Diba Nwegbo still by himself. What a solo run. And Nwegbo begging for help. Diba Nwegbo.
Literally, I'm watching him right now, yelling over at Gonsalves, Adams, and all of them. Everything that he just did was exceptional.
Yeah.
He created that entire chance and then puts a great ball across. Nobody is committed to it, and I can't understand why. That's disappointing.
1-on-5. There were no reinforcements for Diba. Just asking for somebody to get on the end of his beautiful ball slid across the 6.
All that hard work.
Nonetheless, I think Diba Nwegbo has been pretty clearly the best player out there through the first 35.
Yeah, I'd agree. But you know what? I'm going to give a shout-out to Connor Tobin.
Yeah.
He's had a quiet match, and there's very good reason for that.
Over the head of Tobin on that ball. Coming up into the attack is the right back Hicks. Messer comes over and has the block. Hicks again, reloading. Towards Cortez Armero. He got there before Bolia, but Silvera promptly out of the net. He scoops it up.
Back into the safe hands of the keeper.
Matt, it was just officially announced on social media. This is a full-on sellout. We've got 2,500 fans here today. Not one single ticket still available.
I mean, wow, yeah, I see people standing at this point.
2,500 fans in attendance to watch Western Massachusetts take on Vermont Green FC.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome from everyone, locals, and I know there's people from afar from it, but the support and the showing is just jaw-dropping. This is great.
And we love all you guys who are watching along with us here on the web stream. Look at the fans in the crowd right there. Packed stuff as we're up in the broadcast booth. Just a packed house.
I do want to say Brian and I are still waiting for our ice cream sandwiches.
Ben and Jerry's in the house. Free ice cream sandwiches for the first 500 fans in attendance.
I think they're gone.
You don't say. I think we were a little late today.
Yeah, exactly.
When I got here about 2 hours before kickoff, there were people already mingling around, walking through campus in their Vermont Green gear. It's a real atmosphere.
Oh, just the whole town, though, and especially, from the beginning of the season, but as it progressed and more and more and more, like, it's in everyone's mouth, like everyone's talking about it in the restaurants and the bars and, out on the patios and everything.
I see Vermont Green gear everywhere I go.
Oh,
grocery stores, pretty much everywhere.
I posted that picture of my dog when I was walking on the lake, and I saw I was wearing the Vermont Green FC shirt, and I saw them. They're like up the green. I was like, this is wild. This is great.
It has been a phenomenal year, and Vermont Green has treated their fans, in particular at this venue. At home this season, Vermont Green has outscored opponents 21-4, and the Green are 5-1 here at this venue.
That says a lot about the recruitment. That says a lot about Coach Adam and his staff and who they identified and brought in. That says a lot about the vision for it. It's not easy to start a club, recruit, a 22-man roster, and then actually be this competitive in your first year.
And create this much success as Ferreira wriggles his way through and draws a handball called on Nicholas Oberock. Still awaiting our first big chance of the first half. Certainly Western Massachusetts would be the happier with just 1 point, although they are still in a battle for a division title. Currently trailing Seacoast United by 1 point. Seacoast United playing AC Connecticut as we speak. I'll try to get you a score update if we have one at the half. Gonsalves down the line. Nathan Messer loves that left foot. He can put it on a dime. He goes right foot this time towards Nwegbo. Great defensive header. Nicholas Oberach reacted. And he's down behind the play, and Diba called for a foul, in fact.
But highlight before that, what I was asking out of Gonsalves, he drops deep, he receives the ball, nobody actually follows him. He has time to turn, then, one time hits the ball. Sorry, didn't turn. One time hits the ball over to Messer. Messer creates a chance, and Nwegbo almost gets on the end of it.
Simple play from
quick.
Gonsalves.
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably not going to hit the home run today where we've seen him just blow by defenses with his pace. I don't think that's in the cards for Matty Gonsalves today. But he really, last time out against Pathfinder, showed he's got a lot more in his locker than just blazing speed. This is a really skilled player who fills up top a variety of positions.
Oh, yeah, he's blessed with a ton of technique on the ball, and that assist that he had to Claherty. I mean, to split the players and then dribble, take the hop over the tackle, and then pick your head up for just a split second, see Claherty, and that's a tough one because it's got to get up and down, fall off the dinner table, and just drop to Claherty's feet. And then Claherty, obviously, with a great touch and the finish, but credit to Gonsalves for finding it and creating it.
Once again, Western Massachusetts, patient in possession. Turned over Ferreira. Oh, he tried to get it to Adams on one time. Charlie not on the same page. Adams playing that number 10 position today for Vermont Green. He's the central attacking midfielder. Nash Gibney finds Oberach. There's Rodrigo Ferreira again. A couple times in a row, he's been the one to get on the end of a Western Massachusetts pass. Poor touch from Lilly, but again, Ferreira there to help out. And Bolia gives them room. What a touch from Deba Nwegbo. Couldn't keep possession. Nash Gibney for the Pioneers. Couteau. Albo pings it right back to him. Arriagada helping out at the back line. The right back Hicks is pushing up the fields. Nash Gibney ahead for Cortez Armero. Popped out by Bolia. Throw in for the Pioneers.
Again, good defending, good shape out of Vermont Green. I mean, for both teams, but right there, limiting everything has to go out wide, and it stifles the entire attack. There's not really that ball through the middle.
There has not been much passing across the middle of the Virtue Field turf. Khalid Rose. He's got great pace, dancing on Nathan Messer. Nathan Messer invites that challenge on, I'm sure with a bit of a smile. Messer's going to be challenged today, really called on to defend Rose down the right side. But he's such a talented player. Space to turn for Valadez. Back for Oberach, the left back. Shot deflected, and there's a shot on target. Nate Silvera has the game's first save.
Snuffed out entirely by Nate.
Says a lot of about the match, though. That's one of the few attempts for it is a scuffed shot that just like a little bit of deflection off
from your left back, 25 yards out too.
Let's hear it for the boys in these last 5 minutes.
Only 5 minutes remaining in the first half, even less than that actually, as we're in the 43rd minute of 45. Albo. Oberach. Easily around Deba Nwegbo that time. But Rodrigo Ferreira says only this far. Ferreira, that was impressive from Rodrigo. Now Pachella, he's playing quarterback. Gonsalves again, coming back, but a poor pass from Matty. Cortez Armero has a strong first touch. Runners on either side. Wide for Velidzic. Swarming back. Look at Gonsalves coming back on defense.
That's what you need to do. When you're not on the ball a lot, you need to go and get on the ball for it. I mean, this is vintage Wayne Rooney covering all the entire field for you. You need to get back, go and help out your team. Fine, you can get mad at everyone that you're not getting the ball exactly when you want it for, but go and get on it. Go get your touches. Get warmed into it.
Matty Gonsalves has started seeking out the ball in this match. So far, neither team really looking confident offensively. Strong defense from these two sides in the first 45. Here's Connor Tobin again. Nathan Messer. Felt some pressure, so launched it towards Deba Nwegbo. Nwegbo goes up for it. Albo. His turn to try to go up over the top of Ferreira, and it works. What a bit of skill. But Daniel Pachella, Adams slides it back to Pachella, man on his back. Finds a way to get it to Lilly, who gets it to Nwegbo. He puts it on target! Oh! Deba Nwegbo did it from the sideline! Deba Nwegbo, highlight reel, and we've got our first goal.
I'm speechless from that.
He pulled an Owen O'Malley. Takes the shot from the sideline and celebrates. Deba Nwegbo, you're the man.
Take a bow, son.
Out of nowhere.
Let's take a look at this again. I thought that it was going to be short, that the goalkeeper was going to get his hands on this ball. but he's got enough meat on it that he comes out for it, and then he realizes, nope, this is actually going over my head.
That man might just be a superstar. Deba Nwegbo has his 9th goal of the season for Vermont Green FC, and that's only going to help his scoring average of 1 goal every 63 minutes.
Yeah, what did it goes down to
Probably
now, 59?
Well, he's got now 9 goals in 554 minutes, so somebody do that math and get back to me. Man.
What a goal. What a goal.
So casual, too. Just turn.
Oh, yeah.
Are you not entertained?
Saw a lot of beers go into the air.
Well, that's an exclamation point of the first half. All of a sudden, Western Massachusetts going to be chasing the game. What changes now?
I mean, I think it now gives a nice cushion for Vermont Green, obviously, and they don't have to go chasing the game into the second half. They can actually be a little bit more relaxed and calm about going and trying to get that win, because if it carried over into the second half, then they, all of a sudden you're staring down like, oh, I only have 20 minutes left. We've got to pour everything forward, and it starts to get very risky behind you from there.
Gonsalves sticks his nose right back into the play. And a whistle going against Vermont Green. It's a Western Massachusetts free kick.
A minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time.
I mean, I'm going to be thinking about that shot from Deba for the next bit here. Trying to refocus myself.
The thing is, I don't even necessarily think that was 100% across. I saw where his shoulders were facing. I saw him looking almost at that back post for it. He wasn't necessarily entirely looking for somebody. He wanted to put it probably in that area, but I think he's kind of committed to the shot.
Tobin goes up. It goes towards Silvera, and he brings it down. Nate Silvera says, give me that.
Yeah, take your time.
He knows what he's doing at this point.
Make sure the grass is long.
That turf really growing on the sun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to go jump in a ice bath at halftime.
I would love that. And Gonsalves commits another foul. 3 minutes of stoppage time here. Deba Nwegbo, after a first half that featured virtually no shots on goal and virtually no scoring chances, created a scoring chance out of literally nothing. Just pump it towards him right now. Ferreira goes to the hot hands. Deba Nwegbo. Nicholas Oberach coming over and just sends it into the sun.
It's good pressure from Nwegbo, though, because he's running back towards goal, the defender, Oberach, and then it's a bad touch. They got the throw in. That's it.
Deba Nwegbo, the difference in half number 1 between Vermont Green FC and Western Massachusetts. 1-0 the score through 45. We'll step aside. Brian and Matt will be with you in front of this packed house at halftime. Coming up next. Back at Virtue Field in Burlington, Vermont. We're back at halftime. Vermont Green FC leading 1-0. And what a 1 goal it was in half number 1, Matt. Deba Nwegbo, the difference maker. It's just an all-time goal.
And as we were just talking about, looking at his body language, too, it looks like a shot. It doesn't necessarily, the more I watch it, the more it actually looks like he sees an opening and takes the shot for it.
He just kind of looks at the crowd and says, yeah, that's right, I'm that dude. He was phenomenal in the first half, Matt. And then we said it looks just like Owen O'Malley's goal from earlier this year. Here's another look at it from Deba.
No, this is a great angle for it, too. You see the goalkeeper, he takes 2 steps and then he realizes his mistake.
Yeah.
Says, oh no, that's got a lot more weight on it.
Owen O'Malley ran into the goal and then turned around to look at the keeper.
You're like, how could you?
That's my spot on the field. I don't think Owen's that upset. 1-0 is the score. As once again, it was Deba Nwegbo, the star of the show in the first half. The assist from Garrett Lilly. It deserves one more look. Deba Nwegbo, his 9th of the year, perfectly spotted into side netting. And that's how Vermont Green is up 1-0 at the half. That's right, I'm that man, says Deba Nwegbo. 1-0 the score. We'll step aside. Matt and I with more first half thoughts when we return. Brian McLaughlin, Matt Montel back at halftime at Virtue Field, 1-0 the score. You know Deba Nwegbo at this point has the only goal in this match, 1-0 for Vermont Green FC. And Matt, now things change, in particular for Western Massachusetts. They've got this 10-game winning streak, and they're playing for a division title potentially. What are we looking at from them that could change for Western Massachusetts?
I think, well, so first off, now the game is in Vermont Green's hands.
Totally.
This is the perfect position that they can possibly be in. They don't have to be too risky in the second half. They can play, almost the exact carbon copy display that we saw in the first half. They can be kind of safe with it, be conservative at playing out of the back. They don't have to necessarily go long to Gonzalez anymore and potentially lose possession. Now Western Mass, they have to pour forward. If they want that division title, they have to go and get it. They got to go score 2 goals. Otherwise, they're going to go home and they'll be content with playoff contention.
And it's in a match that has seen very few chances overall through 45 minutes. The defenses were impressive, I think. What did you see from both sides defensively?
Yeah, I thought it was good shape from both of them. Neither one of them necessarily looked too hurried. The term hurried, kind of a little bit off your step. But yeah, I mean, watching Connor Tobin didn't look like he broke a sweat, and that's great to see, And Baloo, I think that's also a lot of credit to him that he was doing a lot of that kind of very aggressive defending, putting the pressure on the attack from Western Mass for it. So I'm loving what I'm seeing.
2 new center backs for Vermont Green, but they're not the ones who make the game's first mistake. When I asked you, how is there going to be a goal scored in this game, 2 very strong defensive performances, you said, unfortunately, it might be because of one big mistake. And looks like right now that happened, and Deba Nwegbo is the result out of it.
Exactly. Both teams, it looked like I was getting ready for us to kind of talk about the game before halftime started. And I was like, all right, well, it's been kind of both the same display from both of them. Good defensive, a good defensive unit altogether, both getting back behind the ball for it. And then the attack was kind of it was limited to those kind of half crosses. And you saw Nwegbo, he was really frustrated on that one cross where he's like, why is nobody committing for it? And then right away, or right towards the end for it, all of a sudden you see he takes his chance. Individual brilliance, definitely, but also it's that key mistake from the goalkeeper. He takes those 2 steps, and that's it. He's on an island.
And an all-time goal is the result. 1-0 at halftime. Vermont Green, 45 minutes away from clinching their first playoff berth in program and club history. You're not going to want to miss it. The second half is next. And here's Brian and Matt alongside you here at Virtue Field. And Matt, quite the first half. Nothing was happening, and then all of a sudden, one of the highlights of the season is Deba Nwegbo scored from an absurd angle and an absurd range. Quite the individual moment for Vermont Green in front of a sold-out crowd.
Yeah, I was looking to punch for about, almost going to go on to 45 minutes for it. But now Vermont Green finds themselves in a great position now because Western Mass is likely going to pour a little bit more forward. All of a sudden, you're going to see their positioning is going to be 10 feet more forward than it was before in the first half from it. And that means that Vermont Green can kind of wait for their chance to possibly go and get that second goal and really seal the win.
What are you looking for from the defense of Vermont Green FC, though, as we get a look into the crowd? Defensively for Vermont Green, 2 new center backs today, Connor Tobin and Carter Bolia, making their first start together at center back. What's the overall impressions there, and what are you hoping to see from them now that they're up 1?
It looks calm. It doesn't, this is a very rotated back line right now, but it looks very calm, and I think that's a lot because Connor Tobin, with all of his experience, is probably talking. I can see him talking and pointing to everyone around him, especially he's talking very much to Pacella and Ferreira, asking them to come for the ball in certain positions, drawing players out. That's very much he's playing his captain's role from the back. I'd say what I'm looking out of them is the exact same display that I saw from the first half.
And I think Ferreira and Pacella were not exactly 100% clean, but definitely did their jobs in the first half.
Yeah, no, they were winning their tackles. They were linking up pretty well. It was just, it was a good defensive display also. And, from Western Mass, they were making them put their head down, everything from that. So I thought they did a good job still.
This is Carter Bolia, the Binghamton University Bearcat. Bolia, by the way, this is a fun note. It's such a big part of Vermont Green FC. That's a good flick on from Adams. Hold the note on Bolia just for a moment. Charlie Adams got the flick from Gonsalves. Nathan Messer into the attack. Back for Pacella as Green hold possession. That's spun out wide towards Deba Nwegbo.
Coming off number 12, Owen O'Malley.
Owen O'Malley is subbed off at the half. Jack Clardy. So Clardy playing up top for O'Malley.
Interesting.
Good skill from Nwegbo. Yeah, that is an interesting one. We've seen Jack Clardy play the holding midfield position as well. Messer. Too long for Nwegbo. What are your thoughts there, Clarity for O'Malley?
Well, it looks like he's going to play a little bit more central, so Adams is going out left, and then Nwegbo's going to stay out right, and Clarity's going to play kind of, you could call it like the 10. Yeah, I mean, we've seen his touch, we've seen his strike, we've seen him, his free kicks for it, so he definitely brings a lot to the attack for it. I always kind of, for some reason, understood him to be a little bit more on like the CDM sort of position for it, but he's a utility player. He can play in a lot of different positions.
So Owen O'Malley's regular season comes to a close. One that certainly made some headlines and drew many fans. O'Malley, the home team favorite, fan favorite for many.
Thank you, Kenny.
Here's Carter Bolia. As I was saying that, at Binghamton, he's an environmental science major with a concentration in ecosystems. Hard to find a better fit for him to then play club soccer than for Vermont Green FC that is based around climate justice through sport. I think that's so great that Bolia, who majors in climate, in environmental science and concentration in ecosystems, I'm sure he's loving all the work that his team is doing in the community as well.
Yeah, that's made for the club, or the club was made for him.
I think made for the club might be the accurate way to put that statement. Bolia playing a big part in the playoff push for Vermont Green FC. They need the full 3 points today. It's win and in. Hoping to make the USL 2 playoffs as a wild card team, finishing third place in the Northeast Division. Messer, beautiful exchange with Adams. Gonsalves back to Messer. Coming over to bail him out is Connor Hicks. He sweeps it out of danger, but Nathan Messer starting to find some spaces.
Yeah, it was a great link up between Adam, Messer, and then Gonsalves. And Gonsalves, I almost could have actually said, he's like, be a little bit selfish. Take that on the turn and have the shot for it, but I'm not going to criticize too much everyone for linking up like that. That was great.
Messer, the man to take the corner. First corner kick of the day for Vermont Green. No Jake Ashford, who got on the end of 3 corner kicks this summer to the back post where Lilly had a free header. Couldn't get on top of it. But the ball not clear, only as far as Messer. Powers to his left foot. And a goal kick.
Challenge free in the bottom left-hand corner of the field.
That's going to be where a lot of Vermont's chances come next, right? They're going to be trying to find set pieces. Not that they can't or don't want to score out of the run of play, but I have to imagine there are going to be fewer risks for them, at least in the short term.
Yeah, I don't really see necessarily their game plan changing. Ooh.
Tobin goes up with Cortez Armero, and Cortez Armero called for the foul. They both went up for it and collided. No ill will either way there.
And Connor's fine.
Yeah, Connor Tobin helping up David Cortez Armero. Connor Tobin, the longtime pro, has played in the USL Championship, USL League One. He is actually the president of the Players Association in the USL. And once again, back as a player, member of the Vermont Green front office, making his debut right now for Vermont Green FC this summer in their regular season finale. I know we were both surprised, Matt, when we saw Connor's name in the starting lineup today. We knew they were down center backs, but I don't think we expected this.
I'm curious, also if Vermont Green, goes into the playoffs for it. It's like, is he
the guy?
Well, is he the guy, or is he going to prep himself, for a run if they go on one?
I know his mustache is prepped. He's got a full-on playoff stash going, as does most of the Vermont Green front office. It's been fun to see those guys experimenting with the facial hair. Oh, there's Messer. What a tackle. What a player. Clarity, his first touch to his collegiate teammate Adams from Brown, but it's Hicks who backtracks, and then Adams who fouls Arriagada.
Get in front of the ball. There you go, Clarity. Get in front of it.
Of the Pioneers, giving it to them for a free kick.
No quick starts. Not with Jack Clarity involved. 40 minutes remaining. Western Massachusetts trying to find an equalizer.
It's good pressure from Nwegbo. Make him turn right back around, go back to his defense.
This Western Massachusetts offense, every game they've scored, they've won. The only times they've been beaten, they were shut out. Right now, Vermont has them where they want them, though. Charlie Adams. And again, Messer finding a comfortable start to the second half.
Yeah, he's finding a lot of real estate, a lot of space out there.
Is it because Rose, the right winger, is pushing farther up the fields now that Western Mass needs a goal?
And they're losing the ball. It's like we were kind of talking about at halftime. The more that they keep pressing higher up to try to go and get the equalizer, the more space that there's going to be on that kind of counterattack from there. There's going to just be space in behind.
But it's a calculated risk, right? Because
Sure.
you don't want to push them too far up the field if you're, oh my goodness, deep in Nwegbo, stop it. But if you're Messer, you don't want to push too far up the field and risk getting caught out then either.
No, but he doesn't have to be too afraid of it. Like, if they're pouring forward, yes, he can hold from that, but they're going to be so far forward that a guy with his pace and athleticism, it's easy for him to kind of then all of a sudden see, oh, okay, Pacella just broke up the play. Pacella's got the ball. He's looking for the switch out of pressure. Messer takes 3 steps. He covers 30 feet.
Talking with Coach Pfeifer today, I asked, who's in good form for the team? Who are you expecting to play well? And when he got to Nathan Messer, he said, well, that guy just kind of always plays well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's become that, while Jake Ashford always captain consistent, he has filled a similar role with whatever he's been tasked to do. Now Messer chasing Hicks to the top of the 18. Tobin gets his foot in front of it. And look at Silvera. Scampers to it to prevent a corner. The block made on Joseph Veladic by Connor Tobin. And then I love seeing that from Silvera getting right on it.
Just thinking about Connor out here, too. The nostalgia of just kind of like trotting around in cleats again at UVM, just rolling back the years, and he's probably like, just when I got out, you guys dragged me right back in.
Tobin, the 2-time first-team all-conference player. He was the Rookie of the Year as a freshman at UVM, an All-American by the time things were all said and done. Adams loves to drive forward. Charlie Adams got bumped from behind by Hicks and lost the ball as a result. Matty Gonsalves quick to get back behind the ball and start pressuring.
I know that Gonzalez wants the ball at his feet more often. He wants to touch the ball more often, but what I want to see out of him in the second half is, harassing that entire back line. Like, he needs to be the most exhausted at this point because he can create the mistakes, like the hurried passes out of that, West Mass back line from that. And, that's as a forward, sometimes that's just going to be the game. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do a ton of work off the ball from it, and that's what I want to see of him.
Yeah.
If you want to get to the playoffs for it, this is that kind of like selfless display of like, yes, I know you're a forward, you want to get the ball, you want to shoot, but it might just take this for the next 40 minutes. We
talked about his pace being relatively limited as far as balls over the top, where his pace can come into play is as that top of the press.
Yeah, exactly. You initiate the press if you're in this system. You're the first one, and then everyone else kind of comes around you.
Tobin for Pacella. Green very comfortable holding possession at the moment. Messer backing off Rose, who dives in for the tackle. It's a Green throw-in. Good play from Rose. Nathan Messer did tap Khalid Rose on the chest there as if to say, yeah, you got me with that guy. No flick from Gonsalves. Couteau. Back for the goalie, Lucas Morales-Fernandez.
Tobin wants this. Yep.
And he wins it.
Big head from Connor Turbo Tobin.
There it is, Connor Turbo Tobin.
Surprising us all being on a 59th minute still.
Long ball from Nash Gibney. Nobody after it. David Cortez Armero, who has 3 goals on the year. He's played in 7 straight games. He's the primary chaser up top at the moment. Now giving it a look is Josip Valadic. The comfort blanket Pacella. And Charlie Adams, so great with the ball on his feet. Shifty as they come for Ferreira. Lilly holds his run. Nwegbo comes inside. Quickly surrounded. This is fine, though, for Vermont Green.
Yeah, this is exactly what they need to be doing, though. They're not launching the ball forward, recklessly at this point. Why should they? Right now, they can just keep the ball. Have Western Mass come and press them.
Charlie Adams. Oh, Charlie Adams. Oh. Stop it, you bad boy. Gets it back. And finally, he gets tackled by Valadez. When Charlie Adams gets in his bag, he is straight nastiness.
I love that, though. Clardy coming sprinting back, seeing that Connor's going to get it. He comes back, he gets on the ball, and he's like, all right, initiate the attack again.
And he knows he's got the freshest legs out there right now. He was hustling back all the way. He understands that's his role this half. Deba Nwegbo.
The Williston boy's been an absolute terror in the middle all day. Let's see if he can get anything to show for it.
Bolia with Tobin. This is Ferreira with Messer coming wide left. Ferreira finds him. Adams. He gets tackled hard to the ground, and the fans don't love that. Arriagada, the one who took down Charlie Adams.
I'm a little surprised that that's not a card, but Jay's going to let it go.
That is a
give a talking.
strict talking to.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay's pointing, he's saying, listen, that's 1, 2, 3. The next one, that's a card.
Good refereeing, I think, there. I'm fine with no card there. I don't think there was any intent. Just a hard tackle. He has done a couple of them. But I do think that the stern talking to appreciated by the fans. And now here's another chance for Vermont Green. Not in the run of play. They've got a free kick. Not quite in the attacking third. But Messer about to put it in the mixer. Just kidding. Connor Tobin.
Connor's like, no, keep the ball.
I think that's exactly what that was.
Yeah. He's like, we don't need to actually go and get that second goal right now. Remember, the onus is on Western Mass to go and get their equalizer.
Morales Fernandez holds it after Nwegbo gave it a run. Connor Tobin, the 35-year-old, starting at center back, making his Vermont Green FC debut.
Doesn't look a day over 27.
I'm sure he would really appreciate that. Here he is. Powerful header. Cloherty can't bring it down on his first touch. Couteau, that's a good bit of skill from Albo. Deba gets it back on the pressure. Deba Nwegbo, he loves to spin. Nwegbo, he's got the only goal of the game, and there's Garrett Lilly coming to help out. Just overran it. A good run from Lilly, but Oberock. And now Lilly commits the foul from behind.
I like what I've seen, though. Like Adams or, Messer or Nwegbo, like individually, but like these players, they're not scared of this scenario. They understand that there's a lot riding on this match right now in regards to the playoffs for it, but they're out there expressing themselves. They're playing ball. Gonsalves
a poor touch, and he's going to be frustrated with that as Vermont Green forced a turnover with their pressure. Valadez, the left winger, for Oberock, the left back. Cross fields towards Rose. He and Messer bump shoulders, and Nathan Messer has the throw in. Substitutions inbound for Western Massachusetts. Tobin gets it away. Ferreira has a man on his back, skillfully out of pressure.
Silky. Oh, but Connor's there.
Connor just enough speed to get over to it, and now Gonsalves, a one-man setup for Vermont Green FC. And now a third substitution preparing for Western Massachusetts. They are without their star attacker, Braudilio Rodriguez, today. But still skill potentially off the bench. Thomas Dubin might be one of the guys who's coming on. 4 goals and 6 assists for him this season. Messer and Adams sandwiching Rose. Adams wriggles it out, but it only goes as far as Connor Hicks. Good tackle made by Lilly. Clarity. And Lilly continuing his run. Launches for Gonsalves. Had to be headed by the goalie Fernandez.
Defenders sort themselves out though.
Almost a perfect ball from Lilly for Gonsalves over the top.
Yeah, it was actually the only thing that was kind of missing was that I think it's just probably tired legs a little bit, and also just being a little bit cautious right now in the match was nobody was right behind Gonsalves on it, because right as that goalkeeper essentially headed the ball, I was looking for, okay, who else is with Gonsalves on this attack, and he was kind of alone.
Reminder fans, alcohol sales finish in about 7 minutes.
That's a poor touch from Tobin. He turns it over.
So if you want another drink,
Khalil Rose has to go backwards. Ferreira and Pacella applying quick pressure. Valadez has to track it down wide, and Garrett Lilly redirects. It's out for a Western Mass corner kick, and here come their substitutions.
But right away, Vermont Green getting back into defense, getting on the ball, putting pressure on it. Nothing's easy, even after the turnover for it. That's a good team display.
Substitutions coming. Number 10, Thomas Wadas. Number 7, Tomas Dubin. And number 20, Cooper Necht. 3 guys who are all attacking profiles for the most part for this Western Massachusetts team. From the corner, Nwegbo rises above the rest. Tough touch for Valadez.
He thought about it. I saw it playing in his head. He was, maybe.
Could see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
Back out wide, Albo. Got the turn on Nwegbo, but Debo won it back for Pacella, who picks out Cloherty. Frustration there from the Vermont Green bench as Jack Cloherty bombed it the length of the field. Western Massachusetts finding themselves in much more possession the last 5 minutes.
Number 20 coming in for number 4. And number 10 coming in for 9.
Hicks. Arriagada. Long way to the left back, Oberock.
It's a great ball.
Lilly stabs on the tackle. Oberock turns around him, cuts it back. This is Rose, takes the shot. Khalid Rose, his first look at a shot on target inside the 18, and he could not put it on Silvera's net.
Yep, it's a little bit of a spell, though, from Western Mass right now. They're getting on the ball. They're holding it a lot more. They're creating chances. They're getting a sniff right now at the 18 for it. So right now what everyone should be looking for from out of Vermont Green is keep that defensive shape, keep working hard. Usually this game goes into like these little spells for 10, 12-minute stretches for it, and right now this looks like this is Western Mass's.
So off comes the left back, Oberock. Looks like number 20, Cooper Necht, is coming on up top, or at least he's sliding to the right side. Khalid Rose, number 19, is going to the left side. Also coming off is the striker, David Cortez Armero. And that coming on is Tomas Dubin.
Set of fresh legs into the attack. Makes sense.
And moving back to left back is Juan Ramirez Valadez. So he goes from left wing to left back. Wadas playing in the middle with Arriagada. And then there's kind of a front 4, including the substitutions Dubin and Necht. Lots of new faces for Vermont Green to defend.
While this referee sorts out the silliness, I want to give a big shout out to you, the fans. Today we have smashed our attendance record.
Getting a new ball, I guess.
Looking like it was a little flat.
I guess.
Brought out tickets to capacity for the first time ever. 2,500 fans. Give yourselves a round of applause.
There's the official announcement. 2,500 fans on in attendance today.
Big round of applause. What a performance by you, the fans.
It's really great positioning. That space that Pacella just took up, he kind of read how it was getting played out of the back, and then now they can break into the attacking third.
He was able to slide it for Nwegbo. Debo on the cross. That got up around a hand. Ooh, it's out for a corner regardless. I thought that clipped the hand of Cheney Nash-Gibney. Debo Nwegbo again creating a good chance.
Can we double up this score and put one foot
Taking another look here. Let's see what.
At the moment, it looks like the ball boy's taking it.
Maybe it was the shoulder.
It was right around that left shoulder. Close.
Don't have to run, Messer. I was only messing.
Nathan Messer across the field. He can whip in a corner from here. Tobin up as one of the targets. Debo Nwegbo also great in the air. Messer goes low towards Debo. Nwegbo shoves it back out for Messer. He reloads. On his left foot, Nathan Messer still carrying. Finally to the back post, but out of the net comes Fernandez, and he's there.
A couple of defenders are punching a dangerous ball to the far left post. Wraps up by the keeper though before it gets to a Vermont Green head.
Nwegbo coming back. He wrestles with Khalid Rose, and Rose wins the battle. Rose cutting centrally. Slide tackle from Pachella. Wadas ends up slinging it out wide for Albo. And that was off of the Western Mass cleat last. Great work from Carter Bolia coming over to help out, as well as Garrett Lilly getting back on defense. That's Lilly over the ball as Vermont Green makes a substitution. Sam McCann coming in up top for Matthew Gonsalves.
Yeah, it makes sense too. We've seen, McCann's energy, his engine, as I, would call it, and Gonsalves he had a quiet match. That's all, I'd really say. He wasn't able to really get on the ball, wasn't really affecting the play for it, and it's a good substitution. Change it up a bit.
Quickly, Adams into space for Messer. Sam McCann in good form, coming off 2 goals against Pathfinder FC. The Quinnipiac freshman. But this is Charlie Adams. Messer. Ferreira. Around the tackle from Wadas. Ferreira again. Debo Nwegbo into a pocket. Oh, and it reached him. He wasn't quite ready for it. Valadez cut in front.
I don't think he thought that was making it through.
Ahead, Khalid Rose. Garrett Lilly giving him room. Pachella back in front as well. Here's Sam McCann coming on to help out. And Pachella comes out of it. Oh, he is in a wrestling match now. Rose comes through and chops down Pachella.
Referee, I think you need to make a call there, but okay.
And Ferreira comes in and takes out Wadas. All of a sudden, bodies flying. 69th minute, this is getting intense.
Yeah, this is now starting to turn in a little bit of the back and forth that we saw a little bit in the beginning of the first half, and this is where things get a little sketchy.
Things are starting to get just a bit chippy. Down the right sideline, Cooper next from the Dayton Flyers, wide for Hicks, and easy for Silvera. Yeah, let's settle it down. Nate Palm to the turf. He has not been tested today, but he has looked very comfortable. Everything's been routine for Silvera. We'll see if he's forced into a big-time save late. Lilly flicks it down the line. Cloherty chased after it outside the reach of McCann. Couteau. Hicks. Wadas. Hicks.
I
think Pachella or Ferreira now needs to kind of take control of this match a little bit more. It's not that they've had, a bad match in any respect whatsoever. That's not what I'm trying to say.
No.
It's more so that Vermont Green has kind of lost a little bit of that kind of that chokehold on the match, having more possession of the ball, more time on the ball, eating away at the clock for it. It's been a little bit more now on the edge has been in Western Mass, and you're going to start to see like a few more chances starting to creep in.
And this is the time of game where you need your CDMs to take control.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's a little bit tired right now. You need your players and the engine of the entire team to take control of it, to calm things down, make you'd call it maybe like the safer plays.
Couteau. McCann keeps chasing, and it slings to Connor Hicks. Shakes it towards Necht, but Tobin steps in and makes the tackle.
Big man Connor Tobin with a foot in there.
Vermont is starting to get more into that just launch it deep mode, though, every time they get their foot on it.
There's not a lot of options right now to play it on the ground forward to it for, and that's what McCann should be studying from the first half, is what he saw that Gonzalez wasn't able to kind of affect the game, and it's like it's coming in, it's dropping deep, it's getting on the ball. You're creating space for the other players right behind you. You're creating it for Adams, you're creating it for Clardy, you're creating for Nuegbo. So that's what I want to see McCann do, is like, all right, on that transition, out of defense, can I come and get the ball and then drag either some of those defenders with me to create the space for it, or can I get it and turn and then try to find a link up and get into the attack, drag us all up the field into attack.
We've reached our next hydration break. You're getting a great look at all the fans here in attendance, 2,500 fans. Look at that, the smiling faces of kids here. It's been so great all summer long to make it out to the pitch and see the support from soccer fans, but also I think future soccer fans. There have been so many kids at these matches.
I know. It's such a family event, too. That's what I love about it. It's like you're seeing a lot of, kind of the mid-30s, because it's a young crowd, Burlington, but you're seeing, now the new parents, and this is something that they get to bring their kids, and they're like, hey, this is something that we can have going forward. I love it.
And, of course, they're the Green Mountain Boys. They've got flags down there. Every country represented on the Vermont Green FC roster, they've got that nationality's flag hanging over the bleachers. The Green Mountain Boys have really been a big part of this Vermont Green atmosphere. Just under 20 minutes to go, Matt. They're trying to close out a trip to the playoffs and end a 10-game winning streak for Western Massachusetts. Not going to be an easy final 20.
Yeah, what a statement, too, if you do. And it's looking like Morrison came on.
Morrison on. Charlie Adams' day comes to a close. So now Clardy, McCann, and Morrison have all entered up top. Deba Nuegbo staying in the game for Vermont Green. A couple of Western Massachusetts substitutions as well. We'll get you those names in just a moment.
Seeing Connor Tobin talking to Jake Messer, because really he's his partner this whole match. He's directly to his left this whole time, and he's telling him, he's like, come a little bit closer. He's just adjusting his positioning at times. He's kind of giving instructions about kind of when to break, forward, or when to hold.
And Messer needs to be adapting to a new partner in center back, right? That's not on Tobin to adjust to Messer.
I mean, you both have to kind of like come into communication a lot throughout the match, but yes, as a center back, you really, really need to have a good partnership with whoever's, especially if it's going to be playing out wide. You need to have a good relationship with, like, say, in his position right now, since he's the left center back, he needs to have a good relationship with the left back.
1:30 in Germany, perfect time to watch VGFC in a sold-out stadium. Could not agree more, Daniel Messer. It has been a great day, whether it's 1:30 in Germany or 7:30 here on the East Coast.
Donka.
Indeed. Morrison tackles Connor Hicks out for the Pioneers. Messer towards the middle. Bolia just letting the ball run. Whips it only as far as Juan Valadez. Clardy forcing them backwards. Into the 75th minute.
It's good shape, though, if you're looking at Green right now. Just everyone kind of just clogging anywhere right in front of the D of the 18, just limiting everything. Everything has to go out wide.
And this is about team defending. Cooper Necht. Tons of pink jerseys forward for Western Massachusetts, chasing the game tying goal. That's Bolia. Back to Nate Silvera. Puts his laces through it and yells at everybody to get away from my goal. All the way down for Fernandez to play it.
This is the difficult part, though. It's, okay, it's good clearance, but now, again, it's exhausting because you're watching Western Mass have all of the ball. It's, all of this kind of defensive shifting, the whole shape of the team, and then these type of things happen.
Lilly coming over. He takes it away from Necht. Good recovery from Lilly, although he's now down, hurt on the play. Stretching his left leg. Hopefully that's just cramping for Garrett. Good, strong play coming over to help out after Bolia had a bit of a misread.
I think it's a cramp on the calf.
Those are quite painful. Hopefully just temporary, though, for Lily. One of 3 University of Vermont captains starting in this game. Nate Silvera, Daniel Pacella, also captains for the Catamounts. Connor Tobin, the former captain, playing with 3 current captains.
I'm fairly certain. So I saw Silvera shouting over to Adams, and Adams puts his hands up. He's like, deal with it. And sure enough, Lily gets up. He's like, all right, I got to deal with it.
Yeah, there are not many replacements on that defensive core right now for Vermont Green FC. Lily's going to have to battle down the stretch. This is Tomas Dubin. Tobin intercepts, but too far ahead of Pacella. Dubin gets it back. Great tackle by Clordy, and now Joe Morrison. He's got McCann ahead, and now Vermont Green can break forward. Deba Nwegbo pushing up the right side. McCann driving centrally. He dishes it off. It's Deba Nwegbo! Save made, up in the air, and over the goal. Fernandez the save. What a rush forward.
McCann wanted it back, and I could see the run for it, but you can't necessarily criticize Nwegbo for taking the shot, too, but what a great transition into attack, and it was started with actually Morrison, who got to beat his player, gives a good weighted ball to McCann, and McCann just starts driving into the center of the field, waits for the commitment from Western Mass, and then finds Nwegbo.
That was some type of drive. You said it, from our boy Sam McCann. And anytime
there's another look at it, too. Waits till everyone kind of starts to commit for it.
Corner kick on its way over Lily's head, who again crashes hard. But what'd you see there on that play again, Matt?
Well, I just saw it, like he waited, because he could have actually passed it earlier, and, that would have been, in my opinion, like a very amateur move. Like, all right, just get it off to somebody else and let them have the shot for it. It's almost like you don't want the responsibility of it. He waits till people commit, then he gets it off to, right at the right time for Nwegbo.
No issues with Deba putting his laces through one after his first goal today either, right?
No, absolutely not.
He had McCann maybe as an option back, but anytime Vermont Green's leading goal scorer, Deba Nwegbo, can put one on target, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, you forget about those two quickly. You're just all right, yeah, it would have been nice if I could have had that one, but you just carry on.
And he forced Fernandez into a strong save. It was a head-high shot that Fernandez went up for with both hands and was able to do enough. McCann trying to turn. He's got good pace. Well, Couteau, the defender for Western Massachusetts, but can only clear it as far as Nathan Messer.
McCann gets enough foot raise that has to be cleared hastily by the Pioneers.
Bolia. He's got Tobin.
To put it back into possession of Vermont Green.
Pacella. Oh, that's nice. Pacella has done just about everything we've asked. He finds Lily, who gets it to Nwegbo.
Quietly man of the match for me so far.
I don't disagree.
But I almost feel bad because I think Ferrera's had the pretty much carbon copy same performance.
Well, it's hard to separate those two.
Yeah.
I think Deba Nwegbo was the best player pretty clearly in the first half as Messer carries into the midfield.
I feel like with...
Oh, what a ball. Pacella. Delicious. Onto a plate. And Deba Nwegbo can dance. He's got a big left-footed shot. Deba lost it, just overran it into a Riagata. But again, that's a great example of Pacella finding the right pass.
Well, it's ironic because I was going to say, it's like I feel like when I watch Ferreira, I see a little bit more kind of like this playful technique to his game. Little flicks, with the outside of his foot, or like loops it over like the person that's like trying to defend him or whatever it is. And Pacella is kind of like very by the book, like just distributes the ball very quickly out, left to right, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you see Pacella's like, let me just like whip the inside of my foot on this and get as much English so that just drops right onto Nwegbo's right foot.
Ferreira's got that Portuguese flair to him a little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Into the 81st minute. Western Massachusetts, a couple of more substitutions pending. Joshua Calderon coming on for Arriagada. And Eric Lima also set to come on as Pacella brings it down in the middle of the field and draws the foul.
Eat another minute.
Yep,
you know?
I was about to say, that is about as calculated of a, you know what, hit me. Just go ahead. Take me down.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I dare you.
Yeah, Connor's like, all right, get out of here.
Yep. Go up. Go ahead.
I'll take
We're
it.
in the last 10 minutes. I want everyone to take a leaf out of the book of the Green Mountain Boys on the bottom left-hand side. I want to hear you loud and proud. We have 10 minutes. 10 minutes from the playoffs.
What a flick. Deba Nwegbo unleashes Garrett Lilly towards McCann, but it's cut out by Couteau. Man.
They fall over.
There have not been major chances for Vermont Green, but we have seen some excellent skill.
Yeah, really good link-up plays, like these little kind of 1-2s between everyone.
Lilly has continued a very successful match as well down the right flank. Nwegbo collides with somebody down the sidelines. He's still climbing to his feet. Pacella just rips the ball away. And Cloherty towards Nwegbo. It falls for him perfectly. He crosses towards McCann, and that's disappointing from Nwegbo. Probably the poorest touch of the day for Deba, who has otherwise been fantastic.
You're seeing Vermont Green's coaching staff saying, get back, get back.
Western Massachusetts has not been shut out since the month of May. Their last loss, 4-0 against Seacoast United. In order to beat Western Mass, you have to keep them off the scoreboard. And Vermont Green has done that today. Oh, a nutmeg. Sam McCann could not do it twice on Joshua Calderon. Sam McCann getting into it a little bit.
And again, it goes back to saying it's like these guys aren't afraid of the situation. You know, at 1-0, it's like they need this win. Everyone knows that, but they're out there. They're still expressing themselves. They're playing ball.
That's a great way to put it. They have been expressive all year long, regardless of the situation. Hard to ask for a group of guys who have that combination of skill as well as personality. Nwegbo just showing off at this point.
That would have been a lot cooler if someone was on the end of it.
Yeah, agreed, Tom. Our PA announcer said that would have been even better if someone was there. But now what does Western Mass do? They've got under 7 minutes, maybe plus stoppage time to find an equalizer.
I think it's going to look like they're going to throw the whole, you know, what they say, the kitchen sink, try to get the equalizer.
Dubin loses it to Messer. And they are without Bradilio Rodriguez, their star goal scorer this year. He scored 10 goals in 12 appearances. Also had 3 assists. Deba's just doing it all.
Yeah, he's just playing. It's like a killer whale playing with a seal.
And Cloherty gets bulldozed after a pretty play inside from Lilly. And Vermont Green says, thank you very much.
Pioneers get frustrated and bundle over the Vermont Green player to give us a free kick deep in enemy territory.
You can tell how confident Deba's been on the ball. I mean, the little flicks like that lead into the foul you just saw. It's not even just the goal scoring, it's plays like that.
Attacking players, you know, they figure you out pretty quick, like who's going to be the guy that's going to be on the most of the game, and they'll sniff out weakness, especially if they're confident.
Lilly will just launch it into the 18 towards McCann, who got his head to it. And a foul somewhere in that mess. Cloherty, the one who gets whistled. It's been Deba Nwegbo down the right side doing it against just about every defender that the Pioneers have thrown at him. They've made changes over on the left, and it has not mattered. The Pioneers going deep into their bench in the second half. Lots of changes made, but still without a goal. Time for Wadas to turn.
Onto the field after the match to hang out. You can have a bit of a kick around.
Here comes Tobin. Here's his range.
It's going to be a far better occasion.
Oh, Sam McCann gets tackled. It's a throw-in for Western Mass. McCann got clipped there on the ball near the sideline. He is slow to get up.
Yeah, you got to get up, McCann. Got to get up. Stop feeling bad for yourself.
Here's a look at it. Here's a look, Matt.
Reminder, he was taken away in an ambulance a couple of weeks ago.
Ooh.
Yeah, he does get some
He's
some
got
spikes.
all the studs. I don't know necessarily if the Western Mass player knew like a lot about him being right there.
And there was not a good angle for our referee in the central of the field. Just so happens that everybody in the stands had a great look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Created about 2,500 referees from the metal bleachers.
Listen, it's not a tickle party out there, okay? So you
from
got to
it.
just deal with it.
It has been far from that. Probably closer to a fist fight today, although we've seen a literal fight on this turf this summer. Not quite that either. This has been a proper physical match.
That match had a little toxicity to it. This one hasn't had that.
Competitive, though.
Yeah.
We have been organised to the back all night. And once again, we proved that to be true. It's a throw-in to Vermont Green. Deep in our half.
Curious to see how much time the ref is going to actually be putting on the end of it. There hasn't been a ton of stoppage, so I'm wondering if it's just going to be like a quick 3. And
I would guess in the 3 to 4 range. Yeah. I'd be surprised if we saw as much as 5.
Yeah, without like a lot of incidents or like a ton of calls having to be made, that's kind of like a default amount of time.
The ball's been in the play for a good amount, although it's a whole much lengthier conversation. I don't think there's ever enough stoppage time as far as the ball actually being in play for 90 minutes, but it's a different conversation. Bolia won it in the air. Pacella spins a bicycle semi-clear, and he goes down hard as Pacella went up in the air. Quickly, Garrett Lilly comes in for defense.
Not a lot that can be said to either player.
Thomas Dubin, the one who collided with Pacella. And a yellow card, in fact, shown to Dubin.
And a yellow card.
Just gets under him. Oh, that's cheap.
And then Pacella does whack him on the way down, but that was just because he was falling. I understand why Lilly was so hot in that situation.
That's the old Harry Kane, butt bump. Mm-hmm. Right as you're jumping in the air, stick your butt, like, I'm
twist
just protecting
around
myself.
A little, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, is that it?
I love that move belongs to Harry Kane in your mind.
Well, he almost makes it a trademark.
Oh, he really does.
You're like, he's due for one almost every time I watch Tottenham.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying it is funny.
Boys in green, stand up for the boys in green.
Into the 89th minute as Carter Bolia plays kickball. And everybody's standing at Virtue Fields. Minutes away from a playoff appearance. A must-get 3-point match. And right now, Vermont Green has all 3 of today's points. Lilly scoops it out of trouble for Diva, who says, let's go the other way. McCann pressuring, it finds Couteau. Western Massachusetts has their minutes limited down the stretch. A team that's won 10 straight games. They need 3 points today to have a shot at the division title. Wide for Velizic. Morrison steps in, and it finds Nwegbo. He might have had more time there than he realized.
Yeah. Everyone in the stands, giving the hand gesture, like, calm it down.
Yeah. Understand the reaction and the game situation to just bomb it the other direction, but Diba had more time than he thought.
Well, the difference between, really good players in these scenarios where there's so much riding on the line is, do they act like it's a hot potato, or do they, take control of the ball?
And for the majority of this second half, Vermont Green has not acted like it's a hot potato.
Yeah.
They've been conservative, but they have not been nervous. They have not looked uncomfortable playing with the lead. A team that has struggled playing with the lead at times this year. Again, Nwegbo just unleashes one deep out of bounds. And we've reached the 90-minute mark, Matt. Waiting on official extra time added. Fernandez has to play it with his feet. Over Ferreira. Pacella watches it bounce. Morrison chasing Wadas. And now some room for Velizic. Western Massachusetts with everybody forward now.
The referee is
Albo.
indicating a number of minutes I do not know, but I want
But McCann
everyone to
tracks
fucking
back, and
shout.
Pacella comes forward and takes it away. Daniel Pacella has been doing it all afternoon, but he gives it up to Cooper next. And now it's Dubin. Ferreira and Messer sliding over, out for a throw-in. Western Massachusetts still with time to go.
Connor telling everyone back in. Now's the time to defend. Yep, Silvera, get your hands on it. There you go.
Yep, Nate Silvera was always going to be the one to claim that ball. Still waiting on an official word of stoppage time length. Oh, McCann takes a kick up high. That's got to be a booking. Mael Couteau reaching around Sam McCann and caught him up high. Oof.
Oh, Messer, just leave the ball.
Yeah, no reason to walk it up there already for him. Clarity. Down the line for Joe Morrison to chase it. Morrison holding in the corner. Loses it pretty quickly. Ball back to the midfield for Dubin. Tracked down by Arriagada. This is Albo, pardon me. He nutmegs Ferreira, dancing the sideline. Tackle comes in. Clarity takes him out. No foul called. It's Rodrigo Ferreira. Intended for Deba Nwegbo, but that was behind him. Deba chasing after Necht, who's running away from Pacella. As the sun sets on Virtue Field. Western Massachusetts, one last rush. Good block from McCann. Ignacio Albo sends it long. Bolia rises up. He's the only one who saw it, but now Necht. Still going, Western Massachusetts. Connor Tobin, a big-time header, cleared away, and it's Tobin stepping up late.
Absolutely crucial from him, too.
And now Nwegbo takes it away, but not for long. Western Massachusetts still pushing forward. And again, they get a piece of it. And now Bolia launches it towards McCann. The bench is bouncing for Vermont Green. The fans are on their feet, urging the referee to blow his whistle 3 times. We've had over 3 minutes of stoppage time. Looking like we'll get a full 4th.
Yeah, they're getting heated. They think this match is over and should have been over.
Silvera's turn to urge his players in front of him up the pitch. Bolia again the header. He's been really solid too, Carter Bolia. His first start at center back, he has played well. Ferreira with one more tackle. And long for Sam McCann. He's beaten to it by the goalie Fernandez. Josip Validic. Over Bolia, necked after it, and there's Silvera, always aware. Nate Silvera, the one on top of it. Still awaiting the final whistle as we've played 4 minutes of extra time. Vermont Green FC is headed to the playoffs. A 1-0 win in the regular season finale. Deba Nwegbo's goal, the difference. A dream season ends with a dream victory.
And look what it means to the players on the field. You see Pacella's actually, I think, brought to tears. He did everything in that match. I mean, credit to everyone, but Pacella, in my opinion, somebody that I could pick out from it, he just left everything on the field. Look at it, all the kids, everyone running in.
It's a Virtue vault for Nathan Messer. Up into the crowd, green smoke flying. Absolute scenes from Burlington, Vermont.
What a mature, great match from Vermont Green. You know, they controlled that match, but they also rode the waves when they didn't have control of the match, when Western Mass had more of it, and they didn't panic when they took the lead.
The fans are celebrating. What a moment, not just for these players, Matt, but this community as well who have embraced this team, and now it's party time.
It's going to be sleepy eyes at work tomorrow.
Nate Silvera, who had his clean sheet in net, and this Vermont Green defense led by Silvera, but then Carter Bolia and Connor Tobin come off the pine starting in the middle. We started this match talking about those two as the defensive pairing, Matt. I think it's great to circle back now. Bolia and Tobin, overall, they did everything we needed them to.
Oh, they can give each other the strongest high fives. I mean, they literally, at no point did I ever see them both panic, together. Like, they both had to come in together, and this is a very important match, but they both look very calm. They both talked with each other. They both act as a partnership. One would kind of commit, one would drop in a little bit. I thought they did great today.
You're looking at the Vermont Green FC players celebrating on Virtue Fields. A regular season that ends at 9-4-1. They finish up going 6-1 at this venue. And they're going to the playoffs, which will be hosted by Western Massachusetts next week.
What is Connor? Is this maple syrup?
He's got his maple syrup down there that he's chugging.
Yeah.
Connor Tobin, the Green Mountain Man.
He's like, I'm so thirsty right now. I just need some sugar.
He is down that maple syrup. Now he says, hold on. Oh, and he got an adult beverage out.
Now here
celebration
comes
time.
Oh, we can get you a better beer than that, Connor.
He said that's his long time. That's his
go-to
post-game drink.
All right, fair enough.
It has been that way for a long time. I asked him the same question. Look at Connor Tobin. A member of this front office, it tells you just how much it means to these folks who not just run this team, but the guys on it. Matt, our first season together, I just want to say I've had an absolute blast. This has been an honor to be up here in the booth with you for 7 games this summer, and what a treat it's been to watch these guys play.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Brian, and I'm sad it's coming to an end, but you know what? It's not totally over.
Not totally over. The season lives on for Vermont Green FC. Nobody leaving the stands yet. The Green Mountain boys are dancing. Playoffs from VCAT country. That's exactly right. Up the green. Diba Nwegbo's goal, the biggest difference today. Matt, I'm going to ask a broad question now, and I hate doing that, but looking back on this season as a whole, what are you going to remember? What stands out to you from this great first run?
I remember kind of like the first couple matches that you and I did together and it very much started with like talking to Coach Adam about, all right, well, how are you developing this group of strangers and how are you going to do it in such like a short amount of time? Like, how do you develop like your system and the style of play that you want? Like, how are you approaching this? And he's like, we need to get our defense locked in first. Like, we need to like at least limit the goals that are going against, and then we can kind of figure out how we go forward, how we score from there. And I've actually watched that evolve over this season, and especially in the last 4 or 5 matches, like Vermont Green has not been leaking goals, and we've had essentially a rotation in our back line, and yet still that defensive form has remained, and the goals are still coming. So it's more of a complete team, and I got to tip my hat to Coach Adam and everyone involved in training these players, putting them all together. That's very difficult to do in such a short period of time. And it's been so much fun because they really are a team. There's a good group of guys. They love playing with each other. Yeah, it's been great.
I think, for me, what stands out right there is that scene of Connor Tobin walking along the bleachers, slapping the hands of so many faithful Vermont Green supporters. It's been the community impact and the community involvement this year outside of just the soccer, which I think you and I have both felt has been an absolute blast to be able to focus on the sport part of this, but the impact on the community that this club has had in just less than a year. They did not start this club until October of last year. The impact that they have had in this Burlington, Vermont community, man, it's been special to watch this thing unfold, and I can't wait to see what everybody's got up their sleeve next, even for the offseason. 1-0 the final score, Matt. I'm trying to wrap us up here. What do you want to get off your chest as we end our season on the airwaves?
Playoffs. Let's go.
Let's go.
I don't want this dance to end.
Season is not done yet. 1-0 the final score. Vermont Green FC ends the regular season with a win at 9-4-1. They go with a clean sheet against the Western Massachusetts Pioneers, and there's the goal scorer. Devin Wegbo signing all the autographs. He's the most popular man out there after his stunner today. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. I owe you that as well. It has been an honor broadcasting to all of you viewers and watchers this season. Thank you so much for your support. Matt and I have had a blast. For our entire production crew, Matt Montel, I'm Brian McLaughlin. We'll talk to you sometime soon. In the meantime, Vermont Green FC 1, Western Massachusetts 0.